Hey guys, how's it going? Solo back with another daily update video on the stock market. And it was a rather uneventful day today, but then within the last half an hour, we had some big moves in the market overall. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what happened. And I put up a poll recently asking what stock I should make a video about today. And the overwhelming majority, funnily enough, people wanted me to do a Palantir video. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'm going to take it very serious, just like I do my other videos. So let's get right into it and take a look at the heat map for the overall stock market. You can see mixture of red and green on the board, a lot of red though. And I think a lot of that, as we'll see, has to do with the big news that broke during power hour and really during the last half an hour of the market being open during normal market hours. So take a look at this. Big tech kind of ended up flat, right? In the red, but not really big red by that much. The semis had a mixed day. AMD was down 1.5%, Nvidia down 1.1%. Intel had a nice day today, up 2%. Micron also up another 1%. Micron is at $69.90. It's knocking on the door of $70. Micron's just been a sleeper stock, I think, right now. People are not really paying a lot of attention to Micron, but over the past few weeks, it's been slowly creeping up in share price. Qualcomm also flat, minus 0.05%. But let's talk about Palantir. That's the title of the video. So let's get right into the Robinhood graph. As we can see, Palantir had a good day today. It had a nice bounce back. You can see it was up 6.75% on the day, up another 0.25% as of making this video. But take a look at this. We were green pre-market. We were already up about 4.5% before the market even opened. Within the first half an hour or so, we were up over 12%. Then we kind of melted off a little bit. But like I said, we were still able to open up the day and close the day in the green for a total of just about 6.8%. Take a look at the weekly graph. You can see, Palantir has not had a great week. It's kind of overall down almost 23% on the week, even with today's big gain. So long-time Palantir holders not looking so good right now, at least this week. However, if we look at the monthly graph, we are up overall on the month over 125%. So it really depends on where you either open up your options or when you bought your shares on Palantir. If you bought them a while ago, you're probably still in the green. You're probably doing pretty good. If you bought them kind of in this craze of this week or last week, kind of in this hyped up zone, you may not be looking so good. So let's do some updated technical analysis on Palantir on the TradingView chart here. And this is where we left off on that video I made a few days ago. As you can see, there's only an orange line, meaning we only have a 21-day moving average. The 50-day moving average is not present because we haven't been trading this stock for 50 days. It just went public on September 30th. So as you can see by this beautiful pink arrow here, my prediction was that Palantir was going to sell off. And we did that for 2 days on November 30th and December 1st. And then we sold off pretty hard on December 2nd. But like I said today, we had a little bit of a rally here. So we still did close below its all-time highs. So let's see if we can do some more trend line analysis. And it's funny because I think right where we closed, right about here, I think I can now draw an area of trend because that's right where this candle topped out on November 24th, right where this candle bottomed out pretty much intraday as well the next day on November 25th. And take a look at this. We closed pretty much right at that level too. So we're looking at somewhere about $24 and some change, just above $24. So where are we going to go from here? Let me delete this arrow so people don't get confused. And that's a good question because we're not quite as overbought on the RSI as we were initially. So it wasn't a surprise that we sold off because take a look at how overbought we were back on November 25th, 27th, and November 30th. Pretty overbought. So it's not surprising that we pulled back. I think tomorrow, being the end of the trading week, we'll probably have another green day. I feel like the market always likes to end the week strong. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have another bit of a either flat or a little bit of a green day on Palantir tomorrow. But then I think Monday might be a red day depending on what the RSI graph looks like. Because I really want to say Palantir is going to be red again. But like I said, the next area of support is all the way down here at $18. And I don't think we're going to get there that far. And actually, even before that, I would probably say the 21-day moving average, which is going to be probably around $19, $20, is going to act as an area of support before we break down to 18, if we break down to 18. Now, the other interesting thing is I can probably draw another area of trend right here at about $21, because intraday yesterday, we bottomed out right there, and that's also right where the top of this candle is on November 23rd. So I think the next three levels of support, based on where we're closing the day today, are at $21, somewhere in the mid $19 or $19 and some change, and then $18. That's where I think the areas of support will be, but I do think we're going to finish off the week strong and be green tomorrow. Maybe not hugely green, but maybe a little bit green, maybe somewhere in the $25, maybe $26 range if we get there. But then I would be very cautious to see what happens on Monday, because it's really going to depend on whether this trend line at about $24 is going to act as support or is it going to act as resistance. Now, I know I say this in all my videos that no technical analysis is 100% accurate. And I'm going to show you why that's the case, because that scenario pretty much played out today. You can be the best analyst in the world, and when a scenario like this happens, it doesn't matter how good your trend lines are. It doesn't matter if you use Fibonacci levels, Bollinger Bands, VWAP. It doesn't matter what TA you use. No one can predict and nobody can account for this. So what am I talking about? Well, let's take a look at SPY and see what happened today during Power Hour. So looking at the daily graph for SPY, we were kind of just chugging along all day long, really kind of melting off a little bit up until about 2 p.m. Then we went up pretty big green all the way up until just about 3:25, 3:30 p.m. And then take a look at this. At 3:30 p.m. to 3:55 p.m., those last about 25 minutes of the market being open, we just fell off a cliff, right? And when I see something like this, it's usually because some sort of news catalyst just broke. And if you took a look at all the other tickers like QQQ or even individual stocks, they all had this pretty significant sell-off right at the same time. So when the whole market sells off like that, it's usually because some news came out. And because it sold off, I'm assuming it was bad news. So that was exactly the case. And what happened was that this news broke that Pfizer, who's developing one of the vaccines for the illness, they slashed their rollout target after they noticed they have supply chain obstacles. So in short, they basically said, hey, we're not going to be able to get the vaccines out like we thought we were. There's going to be more of a delay. So clearly, the market did not like that, as we can see by the graph here. So this is what I mean. You could have done the most beautiful technical analysis on S&P, on the QQQs, on any ticker, really. But nothing, unless you're able to predict the future. And if you are, please leave me some comments below with what I should buy next. But nobody can predict the future. So you cannot always rely 100% on technical analysis, because maybe the TA said, hey, SPY is going to go green, big green today. Well, you can't plan for some news breaking like that. And it could happen on the flip side, right? You could have really good news that breaks and sends the market to the moon. And maybe you have some covered calls and now all of a sudden your covered calls are in the money. So I always do technical analysis like I have done here on Palantir, but I always take it with a grain of salt, knowing that I cannot 100% rely on this. The other way to play it is, for example, let's say I want to trade Palantir options, and let's say I want to open up a cash secured put. The next question I ask myself is, okay, well, what strike do I want to open up that put for? Well, my technical analysis would say, I would say maybe somewhere below $21, because that's where I've drawn my closest area of support. Well, to give myself a little bit extra buffer or a little bit extra space for me to be wrong, I could say, you know what? Let me go all the way down to like $17 or $18. That way, I'm giving myself room to be wrong, or giving myself room for another big news event to kind of send this stock really up or really down. That's one way to play it. Obviously, you miss out on some premiums. It's always a risk to reward ratio in the stock market, whether you're dealing with shares of stock or options. So you just have to figure out, what's the sweet spot for you? How much risk are you willing to take to accept a certain amount of reward? I hope that helps. It's difficult to do technical analysis on Palantir just because there's not a lot of price action yet, but I think we did get some good individual days worth of data to kind of update this chart. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave me a comment below. Leave me a comment with which ticker you want me to look at tomorrow. I kind of like doing this. I want to give the people what they want. As always, make sure you join our Discord server if you're not in there already. Add me on Instagram, add me on Twitter, and happy trading.